Culture is everything for us. It really is. It really is. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, it's number 11, and it's everything we're about. And I think one of the cool things is once you know where you were and you've built this new culture and it's good and it feels
Mm.
good, you always want to make it a little bit better, but you're very protective of it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Private Club Radio Show podcast, the industry source for news, trends, updates, and conversations all in the world of private golf and country clubs. Whether you're a consummate professional or brand new to the industry, welcome. We are glad you're here. This is the show where we go over any and all topics related to private golf and country clubs, from governance, management, leadership, the whole gambit. And we talk about private clubs. We mean all the private clubs: city clubs, golf clubs, country clubs, yacht clubs, military clubs, athletic clubs, all the clubs. Grateful you're here. I'm your host, Denny Corby. This episode, I'm excited. I have a friend of mine. I always say friends of mine, but he's a legit friend of mine, and I'm excited to bring him on. We have Jim Miller, PGA, CCM. He's on right now just laughing. And I only did that because that's an office reference. But we have Jim Miller on here, and we've been friends for quite a few years now. And
Yeah.
one thing I noticed was that when I met him, I think we met at a CMAA event, I think it was, and I just felt this warmth about him. But when I met Jim, he and I just clicked and connected immediately. And I went out, I performed at his club, and it was so much fun. And you can just tell, I don't know, I've been at a lot of clubs, and you can just tell a lot by the club and the culture from the moment you step in. And from the moment I stepped into the club, I knew there was something special here. And I'm not just saying that. You just knew there was something there. And he and I have chatted a few times on this. So I wanted to bring him on. And today we're going to talk about culture creation and culture cultivation. Because that's just what I felt that he was possessed. No, it's just what I felt and what he's done there at the club. And I brought him on. Private Club Radio listeners, please welcome to the show, Jim Miller. What's up, Jim?
Denny Corby, how is my favorite person on planet Earth from Scranton, Pennsylvania? How are you doing, my friend?
That started off way too good. I was like, this is good. And then you ended with, and I was like, oh, okay. It's like you just tried to toot my own horn. But I am doing very well. Thanks for asking. How is the weather in Colorado?
It's always spectacular in the summer. People come for the winters, but they stay for the summers. It's spectacular up here in the mountains. Vail, Colorado, it could not be more beautiful today.
I love it. I love it. And you were at the beautiful Sonnenalp Club, yes?
Yes, Sonnenalp Club. Actually in Edwards, Colorado, but in the beautiful Vail Valley.
It's a fantastic club. And the club also has a hotel, right? But not on property?
Not on property, about 15 minutes down the road in Vail. In fact, the Sonnenalp Hotel was just ranked number 23 in the United States. So very spectacular property, one of the leading hotels in the world, and just an unbelievable place. If you've ever been to Europe and Germany and kind of the European feel, low ceilings, archways, it's just an amazing place.
And it's in a great location also.
Yeah, right at the base of the mountain. So pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now, how did you even get started in the golf space? How like what's your origin story quick?
Good question. Actually started in college and moved out to Denver. I was house sitting for a friend of my girlfriend. And that house was the sister of Jack Bicker's personal secretary at Castle Pines Golf Club in Castle Rock, Colorado. And she said, you should run out to Castle Pines and see if you can get a job. And I said, great. And I did. And I got hired on as a back waiter and then ended up spending 13 seasons at Castle Pines. Yeah, a long time.
Wow.
Did literally every job at Castle Pines. That's actually not true. There's some cottages on property where members can stay, and there's a housekeeping team called Turn Down, and they turn down the cottages at night. but they actually the uniform is kind of a short skirt and kind of a maid's outfit, and that was the only one that I didn't do. Yeah, but I
I call
literally,
BS. There's a photo somewhere, Jim. No, I'm kidding.
there very well could be. There very well could be. But I was a back waiter. I was a front waiter. I was a line cook. I worked in the men's locker room. I worked for engineering. I worked for course maintenance. I was a
Everything.
caddy. I was a bag room. I was actually assistant maitre d' for a summer, believe it or not. And then the last 6 or 7, I started on the golf staff. And one of my mentors, Mr. Keith Schneider, who's actually retiring this year after the BMW. But he got me into the golf side and has been an amazing mentor to me in my golf career. But started as the fourth assistant, and then third assistant, and then second assistant, and first assistant, and then all the way up.
Now,
So that's what got me going.
and I and that probably that experience alone is probably why your culture is so good, is being able to no be in all those positions and do all those things and being able to relate and be and interact with all those people, all the staff, all the members, and just working you just know you know the game plan, you know what to do, how to see, how to act, all like you just understand the assignment at that point, because now as a leader no one can tell you something that almost you don't know, like you've been there and
That
done that.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. No, and you get a little street cred when you can go in the dining room and you can carry 6 plates and clear a table, and the waiters are like, "Holy cow, look at you!" And but yeah, and then the same thing on the golf side when you scrub a set of clubs and you can put on some grips and you can do all the stuff that you ask them to do and have done it before. I think it does. I think it adds a little weight and you get a little street cred from that.
Now you were a PGA. Was that like the end
Still
all?
am.
Like was that the goal? Oh, still am. Sorry, not to no. But what was that was the goal? That was the goal. GM was GM just like an added thing. What was the trajectory
That
for
no,
Jim?
that was the goal. The goal was to be a head golf professional, and I was blessed and lucky enough to become the head golf professional at Catamount Ranch and Club up in Steamboat after Castle Pines. And then they had asked me to take on some more management duties, and so I became club manager there, which was great experience. And that's a really interesting property. Tom Weiskopf design. They actually have a 350-acre private lake there with a lake clubhouse and then a golf clubhouse as well. So just unbelievable experience with conservation easements and things like that. So that was unbelievable. And then got out of golf for a bit. And you and I were just talking about this. And I was in private residence clubs, and I thought I was going to be in private residence clubs for the rest of my life. Very similar to a private club, but a little different. So I was with Timbers Resorts, unbelievable group there. Lance Thompson, again, one of my mentors, kind of taught me the art of being a hospitality linebacker, which is one of his favorite terms, which I love. But they have properties all over the world, and they bought a golf course in Kauai, Hawaii. It used to be Kauai Lagoons, and now is Hokowala. Unbelievable property. But I always imagine the conversation like around the boardroom table, like okay, we bought this golf course. Does anybody in the company know anything about golf? And somebody said, I think Miller does in Steamboat. And somebody probably goes, does anybody else know anything about golf? And they were like, no, just Miller. So they sent me out to beautiful Kauai, Hawaii, and the Hokuala property, and the staff there just wrapped their arms around me and took great care of me. And we transitioned that property from Kauai Lagoons to Hokuala. And then I came back to Colorado. I was actually away from my family for a bit, and then came back to Colorado and was blessed and lucky enough to hear about this position at the Sonnenalp Club. It was a chance to kind of combine my GM leadership duties with my PGA duties, and was asked to be club manager here at the Sonnenalp Club. So that was 8 years ago, and I'm in my ninth season. So it's been an amazing time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And because, I'm fortunate to chat with a lot of people and get a lot of different perspectives and things. So the fact that you're a PGA, CCM, you're a club manager, like you've been able to do those roles. And I think just going back to reiterate, it was all those positions early on that helped shape and focus and kind of shape that career path a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
without a doubt. I mean, there's some ridiculously talented people that are now GMs at private clubs that have come from that hospitality side, and they're amazing. But I guess I'm a little biased. My golf side's coming out, but I think especially at a private club, there's certain things that when you have a PGA, CCM, GM, whoever, but when you have a PGA GM, maybe some of those conversations with the course superintendent are a little easier. Some of those conversations around timing with food and beverage around the member guest are a little easier. Some of those conversations with your head golf professional are sometimes a little easier. Some of those conversations around merchandising in the golf shop can be a little easier. It's just I don't know. I think if that's a desire and you're a PGA professional, you should absolutely get into CCM. I mean, CMAA. You should absolutely get your CCM. You should learn as much as you can because I think you have some institutional knowledge that maybe those who are coming from the hospitality side will eventually learn. But I think you have a little bit of a leg up sometimes.
yeah. How, when did culture become important to you? Was it always important? Did you
Mm.
have good mentors? Did you have good staff? Did you have bad leadership when you were growing up that you were like, oh, I know what not to do now or what I shouldn't do? Like how, when did that all start?
That's really good question. That was worded well. I think I think in my case, I've always been surrounded by amazing culture, whether it was at Castle Pines Golf Club. And then in the winters, I would go down to the Vintage Club, and Paul Lemke was the director of golf there, huge mentor of mine. So amazing culture at the Vintage Club. Then um, went to Resorts, great culture there, super positive. And then came to Sonnenalp, uh, owned by the Fessler family, and now again my current mentor, Johannes Fessler, and then his son Sebastian Fessler, just amazing business owners, amazing people, and they've created this amazing culture here, and now we've created this amazing culture at the club. So I don't think it's that I've seen bad culture. I've just always been surrounded by elite culture, and then when I don't see it, we're able to kind of correct that midstream.
How would you define culture?
That's a good question. What was that? There was a Supreme Court justice, and they were talking about pornography, and he said he said I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. It's the same. I think it's the same with culture, and like you said, I mean, you go all over the country. And you see clubs all over the country, and you know the minute you walk in that place has a good culture. And I guess I would define it as, first there's the place. And like here, we're super blessed. I mean, it's Vail, Colorado. We have mountains and we have this beautiful valley and we have this beautiful sense of community here in Vail, which is great. And then the club needs to needs to match that place. And so the club needs to reflect, that joy, that fun, that positivity, that friendship, that the club needs to reflect the place. And then the members need to identify with that place. We always talk about here at the club, third place. There's members have their home and their family, and we want to be that next place. If they're not home and they're not with their family, they need to be with us, and they want to be with us, which is great. So then the members reflect the club that's reflecting the place, and then the employees identify with all three and provide that connective tissue, and they all just play off each other. And then your job, once that's established, is to just not screw it up and just keep it going. And then, but it takes, you were talking about cultivation. It takes a lot of daily cultivation. We talk about with our team and with our members and with our club, constant gentle pressure. We talk about that all the time. Are we keeping up with our amenities? Are we keeping up with our standards, our service standards? Are all of our frontline employees, hospitality linebackers, are they looking for opportunities to blow members out of the water with experiences? Keith Schneider, my old mentor at Casa Pines, used to talk about a golf grip. Denny, you come into the golf shop and you say, "Hey, I want that new TaylorMade. Could you order that for me, Jim? I need a 9.5 extra stiff, whatever." We order it, and then the club comes in, and then we say, "Hey, Mr. Corby, your club's in." And you say, "Great, thanks a lot." Now, have we met your expectations? Yeah, probably. Have we exceeded your expectations? Probably not. But you got what you wanted. But let's say, hey, you and I played, and I know you love Lambkin Crossline grips. You've got them on all your clubs, and I know you work in town, and you're leaving for a trip in 2 days. So I know you love Lambkin Crosslines. You order the driver. The driver comes in. I strip off the stock grip. I put on a Lambkin Crossline grip, which is the one you like. Instead of calling you and saying the club's ready and your clubs are here, I know where you work. I say, "Hey, Mr. Corby, I'm going to drop your clubs by your work tonight. I put on a new Lambkin Crossline grip for you. That way I know you're leaving the next day, so you won't have to come by the club and just cross one more thing off your list. Thanks so much." Now, have we blown you out of the water with our service? Absolutely. Is that something you're going to remember and tell your friends? Absolutely. Was it really hard to do? Absolutely not. But you're just looking for opportunities to blow people out of the water.
Now, a quick word from some of our show partners. It's 2024 and it's time to change the way you vet your new members. Some traditions are worth modifying. The new member process hasn't changed really in the past 150 years, relying almost solely on social relationships and casual interactions, but lacking in factual data. And this is where Kennis comes in, because the traditional application process tells you very little about someone's behaviors and character until now. Kennis has created an innovative and confidential, comprehensive applicant information gathering process that provides an unrivaled depth of information. The world of member vetting has evolved to a new standard, and Kennis is your turnkey solution to meet this new industry best practice. You can rely on Kennis to provide the facts that you need to make fully educated member decisions, because what you don't know can hurt your club and your members. To learn a little bit more or to set up a call, head on over to membervetting.com, fill out the form. You're going to have a chat with Paul Dank. It's going to be good. He's a great guy. Also, be sure to check out our episodes of Member Vetting here on Private Club Radio. If you're looking for a way for your club to help attract the right members, stand out from the crowds, and you don't want to advertise, but you want more exposure in the marketplace, then you need to check out Golf Life Navigators. They are the only resource that helps golfers discover, experience, and ultimately secure their ideal club membership and golf community home. They're experts at connecting your club with people who will truly appreciate what you have to offer. It's like eHarmony meets Zillow for golfers. It's amazing. So go give Golf Life Navigators a try. You're going to love the results. If you're interested in learning more, head on over to golflifenavigators.com. Take us back, 2016, you're just showing up to Sonnenalp Club. What was the culture like there then?
Well, it was interesting. It was a business plan that probably wasn't working very well, and obviously the Fessler family knew that, and the Fessler family said, in order for us to be a sustainable business, we need to change this business plan a bit. So they built out of their own pocket, a $6 million fitness center, and you've seen the fitness center. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's gorgeous.
It
I
makes you want
obviously
to work out.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it doesn't. So you can see me. I've walked through there many times. It seems like people are having a good time in there, but I've never really seen what they're doing. There's a lot of machines in there and things. But immediately we got 200 new fitness members, and that took our median age down. We got younger. We got kids in the group, and then of course, not too much later, we the whole time we had always wanted to go take steps towards more exclusivity in 2016. We say, hey, we got this great new fitness club. We're going to make these changes with the golf side as well, and we're going to be more exclusive as we go. We had actually had allowed a little outside play in 2016, but then the fitness club came on, brand new fitness members. Then COVID, not too much later, came in. And then what can you do during COVID? Well, you can swim, you can work out, you can golf. and you can go out to eat, and that's everything we do. So we were full on the golf side, then we were full on the fitness side. So that's quickly going through it. But now we fully function as definitely a private golf club. If you stay at the hotel, like you said, we have two tee times a day where you can stay at the hotel and play. But everything else is members and guests only. And so in 2016 we were about 140 members, and now in 2024 we're 700 members and wait lists on both. Yeah, about it's about evenly split, about 350,
Yeah.
350.
Yeah. What was one of the first things you did to turn it around? Was it that fitness stuff, or like what was on like the culture level? What did you see lacking? What was like, you're coming in now. It's 2016. Culture is meh. What's one of the first
Yeah.
things you did to flip it or try to start that
I
process?
One of the first things we did, we didn't have a beer loop here. It's an interesting course design. It just goes 10, 11, 12, 13, and 13 goes out, and there's really no loop to it. So the back of 12 is this beautiful par four, goes up the hill, and on the back we found this flat spot, and we were like, how cool would it be to finish 12, make a tee up here, play 17 backwards, and then go play 18. So you'll have a little 5 hole beer loop. It takes you an hour. And we did that. And the way we constructed the tee was, unless you were a member, you didn't know it was there. Like you could play every day and you wouldn't even know
Yeah,
the tee's there. And so it sounds like a small thing, but for the members, like it was like their thing. Like this is our secret tea, and
that's
this is
cool.
our thing. And we named it for a member who had just recently passed. And so we call it the Landauer Loop. And then if you come play at the Sonnenalp Club, our scorecard, the picture is of 17 backwards, and it's from that secret tee. So for the members, they were like, "Oh, I know where that is," but nobody else knew where it was. So it was kind of their thing. So it was like the first thing we did where it was like, "This is our club. This is our culture. This is a cool thing that we did. This is a cool thing that I know about because I'm a member. And if you're not a member, you don't know about it." And it sounds like a small thing, but it was kind of like the first thing we did where they were like, "Oh, this is cool. This is going in a new direction."
Like, do you know like what little things you did, or like what the process was, or like what happened? Like, what was the next thing after the tea?
I think after we did our beer loop and the Landauer loop and the secret tea, I think that was really the start. But then it just started with more and more forward and positive momentum in terms of a club. Then we we've gotten new pickleball courts. We redid our irrigation system. We had a new pump house. We took our asphalt cart paths out and we put in reinforced concrete cart paths. Um, we did an aesthetic project on hole number 15 where now we have this recirculating water that goes down these ponds, and it makes for beautiful audio when you're on the tee or when you're on the putting green. And it's
Ooh.
just good things just start happening when that culture is good. Now, obviously, it
Mm.
helps to have a full membership and regular dues revenue coming in, but it's also that all feeds off one another. When you're full and dues are coming in and that money's being reinvested back into the club, it just, I don't know, it builds club pride, and people want to bring guests, and people say this is an amazing place and can I join, and no, we're on a wait list, but we'll put you on the list. And it's just one thing feeds after another, and that momentum is, once it gets going, is hard to stop, which is great because it's positive momentum.
That's got to be a somewhat good feeling when like a member brings a guest and they're like, "So where do I sign up? How do I join?" Like, hold up, we
Yep.
have a wait list. We have a wait
Sorry.
list. Hold your horses. Hold your britches. No, that's got to be that has to be when a guest comes and has a good time and they go, where do, like, when they start asking about membership,
Yeah.
that's got to be
Yeah.
killer.
Oh, it feels great because I mean, the amenities are good, and the food in the restaurant's great, and that the pool in the water's refreshing, and you know that the pickleball courts are great. You know all that, but when they say there's just, there's something different, and I love the vibe, and I love, the familial atmosphere between the members, and it seems like everybody gets along, and it seems like the employees have a smile on their face, and they want to help me, and they, what they're talking about is the culture, and when that culture's good, and all the amenities are good, and the employees are good, yeah, it feels really good because we all, my owners, the Fesslers, and myself and my executive team, we built this, and you can see it, and it's good, and it feels great.
Yeah. It's one thing when like the members go like, "Oh, that was good," but when a guest goes, "Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good," that's when you know, like,
yeah.
"Okay, nailed it."
When a guest goes, this place is different. Yeah, or they say, and people all over the country who are at clubs hear this, and well, they hear, I wish my club would do this, or I wish my club did this, or I wish my club felt like this. And when you hear that, that feels good. We really are, um, we're really proud of that. And again, it's like the one thing we've built where, and it's not something you can touch and feel, but it's something we've built. Um, that makes this place really attractive, and so we're really proud of it.
Would you say that was like probably like one of the more impactful changes during that first year?
I think it was kind of one of those first steps in saying, you know, we had a good culture, but now we're gonna have a great culture, and you guys are gonna be a part of this, and we're gonna work on it together, and we're gonna protect that culture. It's again, I had a mentor at the Vintage Club, Paul Lemke, who used to say, um, whatever club you're at, you're dealing with people that have some form of income to where they can be members there. So they can golf anywhere, and they can work out anywhere, and they can play tennis anywhere, and they can swim anywhere. So why have they chosen? Why have they chosen? Hmm. Why have they chosen our club? Well, it's those, and he used to call it those tribal bonds. It's those tribal bonds. That's what they're buying. They're not buying the amenities. They're buying those tribal bonds. They're buying that immediate inclusion in a family. People always say, you know, especially in private clubs, I think, like culture is really the only sustainable competitive advantage you have in this space is your culture. And it's really the only thing that you can control as leadership. You can certainly get by amenities and do all that, but that culture, that's something that is yours and you own and you control it, and it separates you from everybody else. So people want to be a part of that, and they want to be a part of that tribe, and they want to come into that club, and they want somebody to say, "Hey, Mr. Corby, how are you? How's Mrs. Corby? You guys doing all right? Everybody good? You got everything you need? Excellent. I know you love Dr. Peppers. I put 2 Dr. Peppers in your cart. You are set to go today." And that's what you, as a consumer, are actually buying, and that's what we are selling.
How do you get your staff on board for that?
It's again, we call it CGP, constant general pressure. But you say, "Hey, you did an awesome job right there. You know what would have been even better is you could have said this, this, and this." And again, that sounds easy, but it takes commitment to, you might have a phone call, you might have to get on a Zoom call, you might have to do this, this, and this. And when you see it, you go, "Oh, I need to go talk to that kid." But then you're like, "Oh, but I got these other things I need to do." No, like that is part of your culture. That's the most important thing that's happening right now. And just say,
Mm.
"Hey, I noticed this young lady came around the corner. She was carrying her clubs, and you were helping out with some clubs. You were scrubbing some clubs, and you saw her, and you came back and you kept scrubbing clubs. That you stop scrubbing the clubs, you run, you go get those clubs, you put them on a cart, and then you come back, and then you can finish." It's little things like that, but you just keep. And when they do it great, you praise them, and when they just miss the mark, you talk about how it could have been corrected. And but it just, for all of us as department heads, we all take that very seriously. In fact, one of our new value statements is protect that culture, and that's part of it. Is when you see something that's not doesn't fit our culture and doesn't fit our service standards and doesn't fit what we want our club to be, you got to say something. And also, honestly, by example too. When you're out and you're taking care of people, you have to be that hospitality linebacker as well.
No, it's 100%. And you mentioned a really good word, which is values.
Mhm.
When and now, so you're privately owned. You're not member owned, correct?
Privately owned.
Right.
Hmm.
So that also changes things a little bit too. But with this new, I don't want to say this new culture, but this, what you're cultivating here at the club, did you did you have to, or did you like redo the mission, the values, the vision? Like, did you work and redo all of that with them?
Absolutely. In fact, we just finished the hotel that we talked about. Amazing hotel. Had their own mission, vision, and values, but it's also a separate business. We're 20 minutes down the road. We're a private golf club, and they are a big hotel. So their mission, vision, and values, and their business plan differs from our business plan. And so we've been working on for the past 2 years this mission, vision, and values, and now we have that in place. Our mission, creating a place you belong with the people you love, and our vision is dedicated to delivering happiness to our members. Just dedicated to delivering happiness. That is it. And then our value statements, super simple: protect the culture, integrity, effort, and attitude. That's what we hire for. That's what we expect out of everybody. And then just excellence. And what we mean by excellence is just what we talked about: exceeding expectations at every single opportunity. But that protect the culture is big, and it applies, it's blanket across the club. So if we have a team member that's not performing well or says something they shouldn't to a member, we address it right away. If a member does something they shouldn't or says something they shouldn't to a staff member or to another member, we address that right away. And we talk to them about it and we say, hey, that doesn't fit our culture, and you need to help us out by behaving in a way that you treat others the way you want to be treated. And that at the end of the day is it. But the team members need to see you talking to members about culture. The members need to see you talking to team members about culture. The members need to see you talking about culture when it was a member to another member. So they need to see that we're on top of it and that we care about it and that we're cultivating it. And I don't know, at the end of the day, when um, you're in the bar, everybody's around the bar, everybody's laughing, going from table to table to table. The employees are laughing with the members are laughing with each other. They're talking about what trips they want to take together. The members are talking about how fun, or the employees are talking about how fun it is to be here. The executive team is here for a long time and they love the company, and I don't know, it's just, it feels so good when you come into a room and you can feel that culture. It's just, you're like, okay, we got to protect this and we got to keep this going because this is what we are and this is what we sell.
So how do you have any ways to keep it going? Like, how do you, 'cause like you've built it, you've established it. How else do you keep it cultivating, keep it going, keeping it moving?
Again, for new members, when they do come on, you talk about that culture. For our new members, part of their onboarding process is they have to have a conversation with me, and we talk about it, and we say, hey, this is what we're about, and this is how we treat each other, and I know you won't have a problem with that because you're attracted to us, and if you're attracted to us, then that's something that you value as well. But we talk about it on onboarding for employees. We talk about it on onboarding for members. And then again, it's just that day-to-day constant gentle pressure. When you see something and it's a little off, you gotta address it and get it going in the right direction. It's just, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and you got to make sure it shines through in your communications, in your newsletters, in your weekly videos, in your announcements before tournaments. It's before our member guests, we say, hey, the idea today is not to step on your opponent's throat. Your idea today is to make a new friend and to have some fun and to enjoy this golf course and to enjoy each other's company, and that's our culture, and it's not the opposite. So every chance you get to talk about it, you shout it from the rooftops, and every time you see something that's a little off, you got to correct that and bring it back in line. Culture is culture is everything for us. You know, it really is. It really is. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, it's number 11, and it's everything we're about. And I think one of the cool things is once you know where you were and you've built this new culture and you know it's good and you know it feels
Mm,
good, you always want to make it a little bit better, but you're very protective of it. Like I know for all of us as an executive team, um, we are all very protective of that. And we know, like, when something happens, you know, hey, Jeannie said this to Mrs. Smith. We all go, whoop, we need to address that. And that's not okay. But what I'm like most proud of is that we've established this culture, which is great, and people like and people want to be a part of. That's great. But how protective our team is of it, and how much we want to take care of it. It's that's cool to see because it's ours. We built it, and again, we're its parents, and we want to keep it going.
yeah, I mean it's pretty much your brand new baby. It's everyone's
Oh
baby.
yeah, yeah.
How long have some of the other executive staff in the higher levels been there for? Have some of them
Oh
been
my
there
gosh.
before you? Do they come around with you?
Yeah,
Um,
Pete, our director of instruction. I mean, he's been here 20 years. Jill, our fitness director, she came in same time I did, so 9 years. Oh my gosh, Diane's been here. Our membership director has been here 11 years. Pete, or excuse me, Kirby, our new head golf professional, he's been here 3 years now, and then Neil, our superintendent, has been here 30 years. So it's a long time for a lot of us, but it is definitely a labor of love, and we're very proud of what we've built here.
how big's the team?
Yeah, it's not super big. I have like 6 or 7 direct reports. It's not huge.
That's
And
not
then
bad.
our whole team, we're about 120 during the summer, and then we go down to about 40 in the winter.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Hmm.
And I'm sure doing all of this too, it must make, I would say probably hiring easier and harder because probably it self filters out a lot because once you have this culture and this thing in place, now it's a certain personality that probably applies, and somebody who
That's
might
right.
slip in who doesn't fit, they probably self filter themselves out fairly quick. Someone who doesn't maybe
Ooh,
fully agree with the culture. Um,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think there's still a huge onus on our department heads to keep looking. So we really take that value statement to heart, and we will hire for integrity, effort, and attitude. And if they're missing one of the three, then we don't hire them. So it's integrity, effort, and attitude all the time. What was that quote? Oh my gosh, what was his name? Zig Ziglar. He was a motivational speaker. He said,
oh yeah.
um, was it integrity alone won't make you a leader, but without integrity, you will never be one.
Ooh. Ooh.
So I always love that. But we expect the same out of our membership. We expect the same out of our staff. But when you're hiring for integrity, effort, and attitude, it just kind of raises the bar. And if a kid comes in, or an adult or whoever coming in for an outside service position, and they're 2 out of 3, we're not going to hire them. And if that means we got to keep looking for another 2 weeks, we'll keep looking.
I almost didn't want to invite you on the show because you're a thief. We I I don't think I've ever I think I don't want to say more humbled and upset at the same time.
Come
Do
on,
you want to
man.
tell the story
Come
or do
on,
me?
man. Imitation is the best form of flattery. Imitation, best form of flattery. And believe me, I will write you a thank you note, and you will very much recognize the thank you note. Denny
Actually,
has, just so you guys know, Denny Corby has like the most amazing thank you notes on planet Earth. And I saw his thank you note, and then I said, "Oh my gosh, that thing's amazing." And so Denny gave me the guy who does his thank you notes, and the guy was like, "So what colors do you want?" I was like, "Just like Denny's." He's like, "Do you want it exactly like Denny's?" I was like, "Yeah, don't change anything, just exactly like Denny's." So if
And then
Denny,
and
if you,
he called me immediately and was like, "Hey man, is this okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine. I don't
yeah,
care."
whatever,
But it's
whatever.
so funny. It's so funny. Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Like the exact same. That's so
The
funny.
exact same
I
color, the
have
exact same reflective. Yeah,
and I have it somewhere too. I'm looking through. This is my this is my box of thank you note. You know, just like, anytime someone says like,
yeah,
sends a thank you note or something,
yeah.
or just like nice letters people send after gigs or whatever. Like I just keep this is just
Oh
it's
yeah.
somewhere in this box.
Good for you, dude.
So I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find
Yeah.
it. That's so funny. I forgot. That's so funny.
Just to let you know, I have had so many compliments on this thank you note. Like
It's
yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you
thanks for
for
being a
having
good
me on.
guest. Yeah.
Okay, man. Thanks. I really
All right.
appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hope you all enjoyed that episode. I know I did. Always love chatting and when our paths cross with our friend, Jim Miller. Great dude, great guy. If you're enjoying the content, a like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, a colleague, someone you like, someone you don't like. If you're enjoying it and you want to give a 5-star rating and a review on whatever platform you are consuming, that means the world. It costs nothing. Algorithms love that stuff. If you haven't done so already, sign up for our newsletter. That's this episode. Catch y'all on the flippity flip.